Welcome to the Flourish with Functional Nutrition podcast. I'm your host, Madeleine Lowry, founder of Twin Cities Nutritional Therapy and a nutritional therapy and MAP method practitioner, specializing in chronic digestive issues, allergies, sensitivities, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, and also eating disorders. Join me for episode 32, where we will meet Jelena Katić Ujević, a MAP method coach and instructor from Croatia. Hear about the mental, emotional, and physical improvements she experienced through MAP sessions. We'll discuss how the MAP method addresses physical symptoms and Jelena's impressive work with autoimmune and chronic conditions. Listen until the end to learn how you can participate in Jelena's autoimmune program. As always, we must disclaim that the information we share in the podcast is for educational purposes only. As MAP method practitioners, we do not diagnose or treat disease, and we recommend working with a qualified practitioner. Now, let's meet Jelena. Welcome, Jelena. I'm so excited to have you on my show. This is a really big moment for me because you were my teacher, and I so admire your work and everything you're doing with the MAP Coaching Institute and also with your practice personally. And I'm really excited to be able to feature you on my podcast to just let the world know more about what is possible with the MAP method.
Thank you, Madeleine. I'm super excited to be here and really thrilled and honored.
So, Jelena, maybe we can start with your personal story of how you came to know about the MAP method, because this is really not a very well-known method even today. And I should also just mention that you're from Croatia, and the MAP method was founded, the founder is from Houston, Texas. So it wasn't like you were next door. How did you find out about the MAP method, and how did you decide that it was something for you?
Well, like you said, it's not something that is well known, especially almost 4 years ago when I first was introduced in MAP method. My story is maybe like a cliche, is something that every coach would share. I was in a really bad situation and position. 5 years ago, I had a car accident, which was a really small and minor car accident, but my body reacted in a way that it has developed torticollis, one of the cervical dystonias, and I was in a huge pain. Emotionally as well. My body couldn't do anything. My muscles were all stiff. I couldn't lay down. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I couldn't go by myself in toilet. I couldn't work anymore. I was exhausted physically, emotionally. I was confused because by that moment I was working 4 or 5 different jobs. I was really active. I was hiking and I was singing. I was part of the church choir. I was living my best life as I was thinking that I was living my best life back then. And then all of a sudden, everything has changed. So I reached a point in my life where I was feeling really low emotionally. I was really depressed because, like I said, my body was not functioning anymore. My head was tilted to the right side of it. I was feeling disgusted by myself. People were pointing fingers to me. People were asking me different inappropriate questions. And I think I really reached the bottom when my husband's family didn't accept me as a person. They were not really agreeing with me being, then it was my boyfriend, but now he's my husband. They were not really agreeing with me being his wife. So that really was painful for me, and I was ready to give up on my life. I was ready to say goodbye because I had a feeling that there's nothing else left for me. And all of a sudden, and I still don't know how, I found one of Colette's live sessions on Instagram, and she was offering one of her programs. And I signed up for a call with her, and I don't even know how and when, to be honest. And we were talking about it, and she was asking me, so what do you do? Because she was offering to clear 11 money blocks, like 11 money saboteurs. And I was like, well, this is really interesting because I'm not working. I don't have any funds to, to support myself in this program. And I didn't know anything about MAP. She did a session on me, and the session was everything but money issues. And for the first time in my life, I felt so free. I felt like me being me without hiding, without living in my pain, in my body, and who were my parents and who were my family and what was happening in my childhood. Because I live in a really small environment, in a really small city where everyone knows everyone and everyone else's secrets, family secrets and stuff. So like I said, for the first time in my life, I felt free, and I felt like I was, this is going to sound really funny, but like I was allowed to feel what I was feeling and to be who I truly am. So that was my first introduction with MAP.
Wow. So she collected one session on you. So how did you decide from there to engage in the method? So you said that at that time Colette was starting to offer training in the method, right?
Basically, she was offering a program that was all about supporting business owners, supporting people who already had like a clear picture what they want to do in their life. And I was none of it. I joined the program. We did some kind of exchange. And I started to attend all those sessions every Wednesday. And all of those money issues that we were focusing on, they went really, really deep, at least for me. I cleared a lot from my childhood, coming from Balkans, especially being a child of war, because when I was in my childhood, we had a huge war here in Croatia.
Yeah.
A lot of different beliefs came from my parents and from generations before that were really embedded in me. So I cleared a lot with doing that. I released a lot. And then I noticed that my whole life has shifted. Not only me personally, my husband was completely different. He started to have different feedbacks at his job. We were starting to leverage everything that we were having. So I decided she did her first, they launched their first class online after a long time. And I said, well, you know what? I want to be a part of it. I really want people to feel how I was feeling in my first session, that freedom and that everything that was happening to, especially my body. My body was really in a really bad situation. And it really looked like that. So, when you have a condition, you can hide it, but mine was really visible. So I really wanted to offer all those people to be able to speak for themselves, to be able to find a story, their voice, and to be open to be whatever they want to be in their life. And that's how I started to be, actually join the certification program and become a student for the Institute.
Can you talk a little bit about how you work with the MAP Coaching Institute now?
Yeah, so after I was certified, and I thought that I'm never going to be certified. As you can notice, English is not my first language. I was struggling with a lot of different words in it. I needed to translate everything for myself to be able to keep up with the class. And I was thinking, man, they're never going to certify me. But as I was progressing, I was the first student having actually real clients while I was still in a training, and that really encouraged me, and it gave me some wind in my back to move on. So I had some great ideas for the Institute, how to upgrade our skills and our services. And I started to give providing a space for surprise practice on my free Fridays. And that actually became a regular thing for the Institute. Now we have, I think, 5 or 6 different supervised practices in different times that students can attend. And I started growing from there. I was really challenging myself every single time, because of every time in my back of the mind was like, all those people are good coaches, they have different skills, they have different knowledge, and you for now just only have MAP. So what else you can do? And then I started to do taste of MAP sessions, group sessions with people from all over the world. I was learning and teaching myself how to provide a group session, and then people wanted to have more and more. And yeah, the rest is history. After that, they offered me to become a first MAP trainer. We only had, by then we only had Val as a head trainer, so I was the first one doing a supervision and being a trainer for the institute. They gave me my first class. It was awesome. I had awesome students, and then after that, everything started to unroll easily and more flowy for me.
Okay, well, that's quite a testimony to what MAP can help a person accomplish. You mentioned Val Stryker. Val Stryker is Colette's son. I just want to make sure that everyone understands who he is. He was trained as an engineer, as I understand it, and he decided that he wanted to train in other modalities, following in his mother's footsteps, really. And then he decided that he would work with her, and he runs the education arm of the MAP Coaching Institute. Is that right, Jelena?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's really fascinating for me, because I did not realize that you were the person who started with the practice sessions.
Yes. I mean, I'm what MAP really allowed me in working for the institute, and I think that's really important to explain, and people maybe are going to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. It really allowed me to be who I am. I was not afraid to verbalize my ideas anymore, and to show people what kind of knowledge and what is the passion behind that. So when I was a student, we only had one practice with Val, and we were finding each other missing more knowledge. We wanted to practice more, and sometimes it was a little bit hard to get a client where you can provide a session for. So we started to meet with each other, separately, exchanging sessions. And then when I was certified, we had, I believe, 2 more classes with 24 different students. So I said, well, we would need to have a space and time where people can come exchange sessions with other students, and to gain more sessions for their certification, and to feel comfortable and to have that safety net when someone is supervising them. And that's how I started to do my Friday supervised practices that I'm still holding 3 years later.
Oh my goodness. And you're still doing the Friday group sessions. And I have to say, let me just pause here and just say, for anyone that is not familiar with the MAP Coaching Institute or is not in the certification program, Jelena is pretty much the face of the MAP certification program. I mean, as a student, that's how I felt, because everything that we posted on Facebook, I mean, Jelena was the first one to answer. Sometimes Val, but mostly Jelena. If you have a question, Jelena is there for you. And the practice sessions are so important, Jelena. I can't even imagine how you learn to do this without the practice sessions. I really felt like the real learning happens in the practice sessions. I mean, yes, you learn the lesson, but that's only an introduction to the material. Until you use it yourself and you start to see how it works, you have no grasp on the skills. And so it's vitally important, for someone who's learning this method to be in those practice sessions as many times a week as you can. I mean, that's what I felt.
Yes, and I completely agree with you. We had a completely different system of doing classes back then. One day in a week, you would have like a webinar when Val was explaining everything and he was answering our questions, and then we would record that, and then the other day we would meet and we would practice what we have learned. But when I see my journey back then and now, students now have tons of support. Like I said, they have at least 5, 6 different supervised practices that they can attend. They have access to the coaching program. When I was a student, we didn't have support sessions. We didn't have group sessions to come and clear what you have. You needed to, deal with it by yourself and to learn and to grow from it, or maybe exchange sessions with other students from your class. Now, all you have to do is just click on your schedule and then join any of the on the live classes, or click on the recorded session and clear what you have to clear. So I'm really happy and honored that I was actually part of that journey and growth of the institute, where we actually leverage our services and the quality of it, so everyone who joins, they don't feel like anything is missing, for them to support their journey as a coach or as a member of the coaching program.
Yeah, I agree. The coaching program is really important. I signed up for the coaching program first and then the certification program. And I think that's really the right sequence for anyone who's interested in learning this method, because through the coaching program, like you said, you start using this method on yourself and you start to clear trauma memories. And I think, no one's ever said this to me, but this is my understanding of it. I feel like as you clear the things in your past, you become a clearer channel for the method to work through you for your clients. Does that make any sense to you, Jelena?
Yes, absolutely. If you remember when I think I was really boring you guys with that, how important it is to be neutral in your sessions. And as you clear more, like you said, from your past and everything, how you're feeling and believing about yourself and others, you are able to be in that state of being really neutral in a session when someone is sharing, to be really compassionate and to see them in their best. So yes, I completely agree. When you clear your own stuff, you're more open and you have more understanding, and you know why someone is suffering and how you can help them, and how you can help them to see themselves in the best light that they can see themselves. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So, and the group sessions, wonderful. I didn't realize that you had instigated that, but the group sessions are fantastic. And I think for most people, if you polled most people in the coaching program right now, I think they would say that's the most valuable session of the week. I never miss the Tuesday afternoon or the Friday mornings with the group sessions, because they're just fantastic. And it's completely unbelievable to me. And I do not know how to do these. So I'm always in awe of how you can handle like 40 people at the same time and just provide a sequence of instructions that is universally helpful to everyone on that call, no matter what their issue is. It's like magic. It is. The whole thing is magic.
Yeah, it is. I remember my first group session when we were doing Taste of Maps, and like I said, we didn't have any training on how to do groups, and I didn't have any recordings to watch. I only had like basic skills as a map coach, and I was like, I'm going to do this. So it was for free, and nothing bad can happen. I hope I'm not going to trigger anyone, that people are going to be satisfied, and that's it. I remember how I was shaking. I was so nervous, and oh man. But when I saw people starting to share the numbers, like when they were coming from 10 to 5, 6, they were coming down with the numbers, I was feeling like I was more relaxed. I was trusting myself, and I was trusting that I was guided. And, since then, having 5 people or 50, 60 people, that sometimes can happen in Friday sessions, it's amazing. You can really feel the energy from it. You can feel how people are really supportive to each other. You can feel how people are sharing their feedback. And when someone is complete, we always join in that some kind of ritual, imaginary circle where we support each other, when we send them some love and support and some healing. And you can really see how people are changing in front of you. And I think that's the best outcome that I could ever look from, from all those group sessions.
Yeah, no, they are really remarkable. I really admire that you can handle that many people and have a read on the group and just, have that sense of where to go next. So tell me a little bit about how you use MAP in your own practice as a MAP method practitioner, and how you, how you maybe started working with people and how that's evolved. I should just say here, parenthetically, that you're one of the few coaches that I think really has a passion for using the MAP method for physical health issues. The MAP method was primarily developed by psychotherapists to address mental and emotional issues, but I think we are starting to notice, and you were probably the first proponent of this in the first MAP class that you attended, noticing and voicing that, no, this could be used for physical health. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, sure. I mean, everything is possible with MAP. I don't think that we are ever aware of what can happen in a session and what kind of impact can it have, not only for you as a coach to learn and grow, and I was, for your client as well. So I noticed in my practice when I was doing sessions with clients that when we would address something emotional, they could feel a physical benefit. I mean, I can talk also from my own personal experience, from being crippled and not being able to walk, to lay down, to be like 24/7 in a constant pain. And I was using a lot of meds. Now, after 3 years, I don't use any medication at all. I'm not using any supplements. I'm able to do anything like any other person. I'm able to hike, I'm able to swim, to walk, to run, anything like any other person. So, like I said, personally, from my experience, I learned that when I released a lot of different emotions and beliefs about myself, and when I was clearing my own childhood, I could feel how my body was reacting. And then in doing sessions with clients, when we would address something really emotional for them, they could report that they were feeling different, physical improvements. So I remember this, I think it was May or June. And I just have to say that MAP for me is like a huge playground. It really pushes me, and this is why I really love it, because it always allows me to learn more and to grow more, and to like leverage it even higher and higher, and it's like levels that I need to achieve. So I think it was in May or June this year when a friend asked me, and she has an autoimmune condition, and she was asking me, Jelena, do you feel like MAP could help a physical healing? And I know that we as a coaches are really prepared on that answer, because we're not allowed to promise anything, especially if you're not a therapist or a medical staff. You cannot really talk about healing in that physical part of it. So I said, I don't know, maybe we can do some kind of a research and we can see what can happen. And I suggested to my fellow mappers to do actually a set of group sessions with what would actually deal with autoimmune conditions and how life is happening. And I really love how it's happening. I couldn't do those group sessions because I had something personal that I needed to do. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to record a session for you that you can play, and then you're going to tell me your feedback. And I was a little bit hesitating about recording a session and to share that with my coaches, with the Institute coaches, because I remember when someone would do a session on me, I would automatically go in my mind and I would think about, oh, this is a really nice instruction that someone was using. Oh, I don't really like that. Oh, you know what? You need to address this. This is what I need. So I was thinking, people are going to be more in their mind than into their bodies and their feelings. So I decided to do my first Dan for Coaches subliminal session. And I gave them a session, and it was hidden under the beach waves, so they could not hear my voice and anything that I was verbalizing in those sessions. They needed to fill out the form with their conditions, with their symptoms, and when they were diagnosed, and they would give like an average summer rating. Remember, in sessions we asked people from 0 to 10, how do you feel? And 10 would be a high level of discomfort. It was more for me to know, did they have any shifts? And to be honest, I didn't expect anything. I literally didn't expect anything. I gave them those sessions and some of them are really happy to join. Some of them were not feeling really comfortable with me, with not knowing what was said in those sessions, and I completely understand that. And I let go of that. A lot has been happening in my personal life, and I completely forgot about that little research that I did. And then they started to send me messages how they were feeling improvement, not only emotionally, because as you know, we work a lot around emotions and around beliefs that we have and that we hold, but they were reporting also physical healing. A lady was reporting that after 20 years of having some unidentified pain in her belly that she needed to have a surgery on, it was gone after one listening. Or she was having cysts on her fingers that she could not move her fingers when she was in a huge pain. She needed to have injections in it. Those cysts were gone. Her hair was not falling down anymore. She was able to eat more food. She was not triggered anymore by gluten or any diaries. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I was still doubting, well, this is one out of the million that maybe I can help with some body healing. But as it turned out, people were reporting more and more, and I did a lot of different researches on different autoimmunes, and now even I was expanding more in physical body pain. And what people are sending and giving me testimonials and feedbacks are really amazing. I don't even know how to explain how I feel about it. It's really amazing, and I'm really happy that I'm part of their journey. I'm really honored. Yes.
Yeah. So, Jelena, can you just talk about that a little bit more? So, this was a 2-hour recorded session, correct?
Yes. At the beginning, it was a 2-hour recording session. Because I had a feeling that, especially afterwards when people started to buy those sessions, I had a feeling that I needed to deliver a 2-hour session. So people have a feeling like they actually paid for something, because I was still doubting in myself, and I was still doubting in everything that was said in those recordings that it could actually help people. And it was really simple. You just need to play it. You can play with your kids, you can do your dishes, you can cook, you can play when you go back to sleep. Basically, it was not, you didn't need to do anything special. It was not disturbing any of your daily routine. You just needed to play it in the background, and your mind was listening. And I think that was actually perfect, because like I said, people were not in their mind, and they were not consciously resisting on anything that was said in those recordings.
Yeah.
And then, after a while, I learned that for some people, it was a little bit hard to stay still or to do something for 2 hours. So I still do the same things in my recordings. I just use a program that would actually speed up everything that I'm saying. So it's more now about a 30-45 minutes recording, not anymore 2 or 3 hours.
Wow. Okay. So for people that are interested in this, I just want to go into the details a little bit more. So they listen to this recording every day, right?
Yes.
And then do they fill out some kind of journal for you every day?
So the first step would actually be to fill out the form. It's a simple Google form just for me to understand who they are and what has been happening in their life. What would be the reason why they're in that situation right now. I really strongly believe that every time when you develop some kind of physical condition, it's because of all of the suppressed emotions that we have been holding for a long time, a lot of traumas that we were not able to address or let go of. And so the first step would be to fill out a really short form to give me as much details as possible about who you are and when you were diagnosed, what are your symptoms, and what was happening in your life so far. And after that, it really depends, but it takes me like 7 to 15 days to record a session for them. They can choose a background sound, they can choose some beats, they can choose beach sound, some healing or space sound. It's really optional. And after that, I send them the recording with a little bit of instructions how they can use it. And for 30 days, they just have to play it. Now it's more simple. It's only 30 minutes. It's like a huge compressed session, 3-4 hours sessions compressed in only 30 minutes, because it's really, like I said, I speed it up. And that's basically it. I strongly suggest people to either have a coach with some single sessions with a conscious work, when they really address those conscious traumas they can remember, and to release that in a conscious level, or to join the coaching program. That's a really good combination with the subliminal, because it's actually going to speed up their journey.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So I just wanted to, so if we can go back a little bit, you did the original research with a group of MAP coaches and your friend. Can you just talk about sort of what % of people had positive results with the recordings?
Yes. So originally, when my first research was done, I believe I had 8 people who wanted to be a part of it. From those 8 people, only 5 of them wanted to be included in a subliminal work, because, like I said, some people were not feeling really comfortable with me not sharing the script and what was said in those sessions. From those 5 people, all of them has reported progress, and actually huge progress. Remember, like we were talking about a number from 0 to 10. What was the average number? So for most of them, the average number was 8 or 9, and all of them has reported they were feeling after 30 days at a 2 out of 10 or even less. And that really encouraged me to do more and to research more and to help more people.
Super. I think that's really helpful for anyone who's listening who might want to try to engage with this process. One thing I guess I should point out is that these were all MAP method practitioners. They were all already initiated to the MAP method. So someone who has had no previous experience with the MAP method would need to be initiated, right? So they would have to have one intro session, or do you do something else to help them with that?
Yes, so the second part of my research, like I said, it was easier to do it with mappers, people who already received tons of map sessions, and they cleared a lot, and their subconscious mind knew how to deal with different stuff that was said in those recordings.
Yeah.
So my second part of the research was actually with people who just started with map or never had any sessions, regarding to map sessions. And I'm so happy that they also reported a huge progresses. I believe that we have video testimonials on our YouTube channel, and you can also find them on my website. I think that was the point where I actually realized this is it, because if it helped people who never had a single session, only, like you said, the intro session with a coach, or if they joined the Colette's experience, or they had a session with any of our other coaches, they had amazing results. And this is what actually pushed me to go even forward and to dig a little bit more and to see what else I can do with it.
Yeah. So even these MAP newbies, were they reporting the same kind of results as
Yes.
the MAP?
Yes.
Really? Okay. Because I would have thought, okay, well, the MAP practitioners, they've already cleared a lot of stuff. So they're going to maybe advance faster than someone who's new.
Yes, I was coming from the same assumption, and for some people it was actually the opposite. Even though they were like mappers, they were having less results than a person who was already who never received a session, and that was really amazing. So I came to a conclusion: when you're really feeling ready and when you're open to let go of it, finally, it's not serving you anymore. A lot of things, good things, can happen just by listening to those recordings.
Wow. Okay. So your MAP newbies also listened for 30 days, and they also experienced the same kinds of reduction in symptomology. Wow. Okay. That's amazing. Well, we know that Gary Flint felt that all physical conditions were well, he felt physical symptoms were just layers of memory structures reinforced by negative emotions. It's a very, very different way of looking at these kinds of chronic conditions. Can you just talk a little bit more about that? Like why you think this actually has an effect? Can you just connect the dots a little bit for people who are like, I don't know what they're talking about? How could this possibly affect my physical body?
Yes, like I said at the beginning, I was coming from my own personal experience where a lot of different medical treatments and medications and therapies and stuff like that were not really giving me results that I wanted to have, because all of them were treated, symptoms. They were not treating the cause of it. And this is where I found MAP actually goes. It goes to the source of why do you feel as you feel. It goes in that deeper level. What happened in your past in order for you to feel like that emotionally? Like you said, we really believe that everything in our physical reality is created by all those different emotions and beliefs and traumas, especially from our childhood that we didn't resolve.
Yeah.
And when you tend to accumulate that stress inside of you for long, a long period of time, for a lot of years, and I think that we can all identify with a thought that we always and usually take care of first of others, and then we take care of ourselves if
Yeah.
we have enough time or maybe funds, whatever you want to call it. And when you do that for a long time in your life, your body has to suffer. Your body is going to show you that this is not a way for you to take care of yourself. You need to stop and you need to start taking care of yourself. And I believe that this is what MAP does. It really, I think I can say it heals everything that is happening inside of you, everything that would be the source of your suffering, emotional suffering. And then, like I said, it would manifest in your reality as a physical condition.
Yeah. Yeah, beautifully said. Yeah. And I've read a lot now, since my certification program about, because I still was like, I don't really understand this, but I knew even coming in that working with the brain, working with the mind affects physical health, because that's exactly what I had been doing for people with allergies and sensitivities. And I had seen that not only did it solve allergies and sensitivities, but it changed all kinds of other things fundamentally about their physical health. I mean, and also their emotional health. I mean, people reported being much happier, much more content, much lighter, much more free. And this was a basic method. This was like not anything close to what the MAP method can achieve. But anyway, because I had that experience, I came to the MAP method with the express intent of using this for physical health and, like you said, chronic conditions. And so that is what my practice is about also. So anyway, I've been reading about the effect of trauma on physical health, and everything that I'm reading is showing me that the nervous system has this ability to kind of freeze trauma and store it in the body. So when we're overwhelmed by a situation, especially as a child, this gets stored in the body somewhere somatically, and when we feel safe, when we feel ready to let it go, I think that's a really important ingredient that you talked about. When we're ready to let it go, then that trauma comes up to be healed. And when
Yes.
we heal it, what we are actually releasing a kind of block that has been impairing our health in some way. Maybe you didn't really notice, but in some way, as we accumulate more and more of these blocks, it just degrades our health further. And then by using the MAP method, I believe what we're doing is we're treating these trauma memories, we're releasing them. And trauma doesn't have to just be like being a child at the time of Balkan War, right? I mean, it can
Yes.
be even small
Anything.
things that happen to you. Yeah. A certain reprimand by your parents at a time, that just really went to your core, just really hurt you. That's enough, like it can be anything. Children who are bullied, that's a trauma. I believe that traumas can be, aside from emotional, they can be physical trauma, like you said, a car accident, a surgery, um, a fall. They can be infectious. They can be emotional. They can be chemical, a severe chemical exposure. So any of these traumas can be relieved through MAP. And by doing this repeatedly, either through repeated sessions or your recording, where someone can listen to it for 30 days in a row, like 30 pretty intense sessions, that starts to relieve physical symptoms. And it's just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and like you said, you did your research, and I did the same when I was, doing autoimmune research, and then afterwards body. When you listen to Joy Dispenza, when you listen to Bruce Limpton, or when you listen to, like I said, we had a really nice heritage and knowledge from Dr. Flint, and when you listen to or read books from Dr. Sarno, like I said, every time when you have something that's really emotional for you, and sometimes when we mention word trauma, people feel like that's something really huge and heavy, and something really bad has to happen in order for you to be traumatized. It doesn't have to. It can be something really simple to logical mind, but for some reason your mind has connected the dots in a way that every time when you have a similar experience, it is going to trigger you. It's going to bring you the same feeling that you were feeling when the first time it happened. And then you build on that. You build different set of emotions, and then after that you build certain beliefs around it. And when you do that for a really long period of time, your body can feel that. Your body is going to react on that. And this is why we do the things that we do. We address emotions and beliefs that you hold into you. And when you do that, your body can feel that, because after a really long time, you're learning yourself and teaching yourself how to take care of yourself, and your body is going to recognize that. So this is why I did a 30-day subliminal. It's like a compressed and zipped file of every sessions that logically you would need to receive in order to release something that has been troubling you for a really long time. And I'm so happy to say that after a while, people were so buzzed up to those recordings that they would listen to it more times per day, not only once. Once is more than enough. Your body's going to feel it and receive the message. But people were feeling so good about it. People were reporting that even after 30 days, they feel so good when they listen to it, because it's I can say it is customized and personalized for a person, but it's also all about their energy and who they truly are. So when they have any next challenge in their life, it doesn't have to be around body, it can be around a specific situation, on their job or something like that, or in their relationships. They just play the recording, and their mind is going to work on what is a priority for them, and it's still working. So I'm really happy that it's not only like 30 days and only one time. You can use it anytime you want, and it's yours to keep it forever. It's like having your personal Jelena in your pocket for the rest of your life.
That's wonderful. So it's not just laser focused on autoimmune conditions. It will help you with any kinds of mental or emotional or other physical issues. Is that right?
Yes.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So I remember hearing you doing this work, and because I already produced this podcast, and I already had what I needed to create a subliminal recording, I started experimenting with this myself. But my recordings were just short, like 10 minutes. And I created them because I had some clients that were very debilitated, and I felt like they needed support between sessions so that they could get more out of the sessions. And so mine were more like just support between sessions. I mean, that's how they were conceived. Just a little 10-minute recording. But like you said, I don't stop talking for the whole 10 minutes. So there's a lot of instructions on it. And I started to worry that actually I may have overdone it, because in MAP, usually the person has their eyes closed and there's time for processing in between the instructions. But so I'm actually encouraged to hear that you did this speeded up recording, and it still works, and the people don't have to lie there with their eyes closed for 35 or 40 minutes to listen to it, and it still works.
Yes. Well, that's the beauty of it. When you when you decide to be a coach, especially someone who is dealing with a lot of deeper stuff. So we're not talking anymore about a usual coaching that you would coach people with on that conscious level, that you would give them different exercises and tasks to do. No, you're working on that deeper part of them. And I think that's really important. And when you do that, you really need to honor a person in front of you. So what I have learned over the years, that even in conscious sessions, when someone is in front of you and you do a session, you need to use those safety nets, for them not to be triggered, for them to feel safe, to feel comfortable. And this is what I do in sessions. So you can always ask their mind to work in their favor, and I believe that's the reason why they're not feeling triggered. They don't feel overwhelmed. They don't feel like it's too much for them. And if they do, they can always stop the recording. Nothing bad is going to happen if they do that, and they're just going to play it again when they feel comfortable and ready.
Yeah. So where do you want to take MAP next?
Yes, I mean, like at the beginning we were talking about how when we were in training, we were really, I felt I was a little bit pushed. I don't think that anyone was pushing me, but I felt that I was pushed a lot to find my own niche. And that was really hard for me because, like I said, everyone in my class already had some previous experience with different modalities, and they already identify themselves as a business coach, as neuropaths or something like that. And I was only teaching law of the attraction, Abraham Hicks and stuff. So I couldn't find my niche, and I was not feeling comfortable doing that because I really wanted to have as many, as possible different subjects and themes and people in front of me. So it's really interesting that lately I have been focusing more on body. So it's not anymore autoimmune. I'm really blessed that other coaches were sending me their clients with different physical conditions. So it's not anymore autoimmune conditions. It's more like chronic conditions that people cannot resolve, anything that's regarding to the body. So when I learn about something that, there's a lot of different conditions that we're not aware of. So when someone approaches you, you just learn from it, and then you just upgrade from there. So to answer where do I want to take MAP next, I don't know. I think the sky is a limit for sure. I have some future plans that it would be great to realize, to put it in a reality for sure. As I mentioned before, I'm coming from Balkans, and 30 years ago we had a huge war here. People were really suffering, and they're still suffering. And then my idea originally, when I was doing my certification, I really wanted to open something that would support all those people. They're still, searching for their missings. They're still living in that pain. I would even say some people are still living in that hate towards other people, and I really want to help them and support them. So maybe that would be my next future huge goal. We'll see what time is going to bring me, but whatever I'm doing, I'm honest. I'm really grateful and honored. I think this is a one-time opportunity to be there, to help people, to support people, to teach people, to have students as yourself, to help them to learn and to dig more and to do their own little researches on how they can help and support other people, and not only other people, how they can support themselves. And I think that's really important.
Fabulous. Well, I do think your work on autoimmune is so impressive. And, those autoimmune conditions, there are many of them. There are 150 of them, and they are really intractable. I mean, people spend years going from doctor to doctor to doctor trying to figure out what they can do to improve their situation. And this is something that's so wonderful. It's non-invasive, and you don't have to believe in anything, right, Jelena? I mean, they just have to be initiated to the method and be open to what could happen for them. And in 30 days, you could have your miracle. So Jelena, how should people get in touch with you if they want to work with you?
So they can just message me. I think that the easiest way is just to send me an email to my email address, or they can walk through me, whatever they feel is comfortable. I'll answer them as soon as possible. The only thing that can happen is that I'm sleeping because of the different time zones, and I don't know. I'm here to support you, and I'm really grateful for every one of you. I think it's really important for me to say that with every person that I work with, I actually grow with them. I learned a lot. I healed a lot. I think that's the most important thing. I healed a lot personally. It really allowed me to understand what's hidden behind every behavior. So in my daily life, when I see a person who is acting in a way that usually we would not approve, you can have compassion and understanding that for some reason this person is suffering, and it's not about you, it's about them, and just to search and find solutions for them. And it really taught me that, like you said, there's a lot of different conditions out there that we were not even conscious about. One of the researches that I did was with lady with a really rare autoimmune condition. Not only 300 people in a whole planet has it. Like 300 people. How many people we have on the planet? 7-8 billion people.
Yeah.
And she was able to release so much in only 30 days. Like, you can imagine how huge that was for her, and then how huge was for her, it was also huge for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. I believe I learned so much at the MAP Coaching Institute from you, the other instructors and supervisors, and from my classmates, my peers. As you say, when you become a practicing MAP coach, you learn from your clients. And I have learned, I've had, already many, many wonderful experiences. And I see the applications like you do for chronic issues. I've had wonderful results for people with chronic fatigue syndrome, chronic pain, eating disorders, of course, allergies and sensitivities. That was what I came to the method for. And each time, each of these experiences just informs me a little bit more about just how the mind and the body work together, and how these encoded memories that we think we're done with, or maybe we aren't even aware of, can be holding us back in terms of our health. So I just really encourage people to explore. I know this, for most people, this is something really new. This is a new idea, working with the mind, with the subconscious mind, to affect your physical health. But I think it's really worth exploring, and give it a chance. It could be the very miracle that you need. So Jelena, I'm just going to have you give your email address or your website address so that people can write it down now and be able to contact you.
It's actually Jelena, monkeymapcoachinginstitute.com. You can message me over there, and yeah, as soon as I see your email, I'll be happy to answer. And if you want any proof, I can send you all those video testimonials. You can see all those people sharing their personal stories. I really hope that with this program, and I'm launching my autoimmune and chronic condition program pretty soon. It's going to be available out there for anyone who wants to join, and I really hope that it's going to help people like it helped so far.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I want to encourage people to reach out to Jelena. I'm going to post your contact information in the show notes. I just really invite anyone that's willing to give it a try to reach out and contact you. So, Jelena, it was so wonderful to have you on the show. I think you've opened up new worlds for people.
Thank you so much for having me here, and from everyone else listening, I just want to tell you there is hope. There's hope. You can heal, and you can live your life in its fullest, like I'm living right now. And I really want you that from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for the Flourish with Functional Nutrition podcast. Please listen again and remember to follow us and leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or Stitcher. To learn more about Jelena's autoimmune program and view the video testimonials, please visit www.mapcoachinginstitute.com and find her listing in the Certified Practitioners tab. To learn more about Twin Cities Nutritional Therapy or check out our podcast page, visit tcnutritionaltherapy.com. Until the next time, be well and flourish. Content of this podcast copyright 2020 by Twin Cities Nutritional Therapy. Music by Barbara Ben.